Oh, he's acting crazy. All right, come here. Today I come to you with a very special challenge of seeing how much I can get done sewing a new cute upcycled men's shirt into this McCall's 7976 pattern. I have an additional challenge to this challenge though. Meet Hudson. This is my new little baby puppy. He is about to be 12 weeks old and we just got him. So today's gonna be extra special. First time back in the sewing room in about 6 or 7 days. I have a fresh puppy teething ring in my pocket. I'm on pup duty right now and we're gonna just see how this goes. Before I get started, hello and welcome. I'm Rachel Ann and this is Dine in Creativity, my channel fully dedicated to sewing fashion in the pursuit of creativity. All my favorite things. I love dogs. If you're also a dog lover or if you have a dog, I would love to hear because they are the best. This video is definitely dedicated to anybody else who is also going through a big life change, whether positive or negative. I mean, it's really easy to feel knocked off of your creative or sewing game when these life events happen. Even with this positive stress, eustress as it's called, it definitely has thrown me for a little bit of a loop. And so it feels good to get back in the sewing room, and I'm excited for you to come along on the journey. And we're gonna see how this project actually turns out. Look what I got. Oh, look at this. So starting out, let me go ahead and share with you the men's shirt that I recently thrifted. I loved the color. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I've got 2 other men's shirts. My goal would be to try to get all 3 of these projects done. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, so we're going to start with this one. As I've already shared, I really want to work with this McCall 7976 pattern. I recently sewed it up. I'm actually wearing the version today. That kind of worked out, that I made into a cardigan. I'm going to put the inspo pic on the screen because I really had to think about a cute fall/winter top that I could make for this season. I am going to have to modify the sleeves quite a bit. Okay, we're good. We're good here. I don't know if you can even, if that's catching him in the frame, but he is there. He's content. It's amazing that this little tiny creature has just usurped control over my life and my husband's life this past, not even a week, but we are so in love with him. All right, let me get to this. Hopefully the puppy teething ring does the trick so I can at least try to cut this shirt out, iron the pattern, and all that good stuff. It's working. Good boy. You know, per usual, I find myself opening up my closet, and while I do have some fall ready-to-wear tops and a couple of my new pieces that I just had, this has been the ongoing kind of diatribe on this channel, phrasing, I need more fall tops. So I think this one's gonna be super cute. You know what, while he's distracted, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the other upcycled shirts that I also want to transform into wearable women's fall garment tops for myself. So let me grab those. All right, he's doing okay so far. So the next pattern that I very much want to work with, get your bone. Where's your bone? Good. Is this McCall's 8040 pattern. Now I recognize that there are some similarities between this one and the McCall 7976 pattern. Uh-oh, he's getting in my patterns. He always gets the hiccups. I love it. So the next pattern I have is McCall's 8040. Let me take this Post-it off so that you can see. He's so crazy. It is a very cute, also button-down top, but I love the seams down the front, and I think it's going to give it just a little bit of a different look. If I have time to try to at least cut this pattern out today, I'm going to be really happy. So really, it's these 2 main tops. You saw the burgundy top. I really want to use this particular button-down shirt with it. I love, love, love black and white gingham, and I think it would be so cute. This was also a recent thrifted top, and I'll just share it with you really quickly. I think it's so cute. It's just a nice 100% cotton, and I can't wait to sew it up and have this as a really cute fall and winter top that I can wear with a cardigan on top, something of that nature. This may as well be a new sewing ASMR channel because Puppy is down for a nap. And I'm going to cut out the shirt finally and get that going. We just had to take a break. But I'm going to show you how I do this in case you ever too want to upcycle a men's shirt. Apologies if the volume is too low. I'll try to adjust it when I'm editing it. But your girl is a sleep deprived lady, and I'm not standing in the way of this dog taking a nap. And when I say I'm sleep deprived, it also means I am time deprived. That would have been a more accurate description. So now that I have the time to do this, I'm gonna make it happen. Anytime I do an upcycling project, I always find that it's pretty mandatory to lay out the fabric first. Can't say I always do that to see if the pattern pieces will fit, but certainly for this one I need to. I know there's some lint on it, so I'll take a lint brush to it. I'm also gonna iron the shirt out, but probably one of the most effective ways I go about this is to see if I can already work with everything that's intact. So for this one, I'm going to see if I can just work with the pre-made buttonholes and even use the buttons. You know, I'm going to upcycle this whole thing. Again, it's very linty over here. I did wash it and put it in the dryer, but as you can see, these pattern pieces are going to fit just fine. I may go ahead though and detach the sleeves from the shirt so that they fit this pattern, but we'll wait and see how that goes. Okay, so after much thought about this, I think the easiest way to do this is to use obviously the back for the back and then the front for the front. You know, I thought about just working with the pre-existing stitches that are up top, but I think it's going to be a little too difficult. So I'm going to go with using this back bolt part here and get to cutting. This is where things got a little bit tricky for me in terms of figuring out how exactly to make those front pattern pieces work. I ended up doing a teeny bit of pattern modification to make it happen. Now, you know I love a good upcycle project, but sometimes I do think to myself that it is more straightforward to work with a flat piece of fabric. I'm going to show you what I've decided to do. I am definitely kind of hacking this pattern a little bit to make it work. Let me just show it to you. So basically, this is my loose working outline. This is how I'm just going to go ahead and work with this men's shirt. I think it's going to end up being a very feminized version of a man's shirt. I am going to sew a strip right here. I might even just embroider this as kind of an added design element, because when I cut out the front, I went ahead and just, as you can see, this piece is going to give me that really pretty kind of V in the front. It's also going to give me the V in the back, but we're going to make it work, and I'm going to show you as I keep working on it. It's also been about 35 minutes that Puppy has been down for his nap, so pretty soon I'm just hoping to be able to cut out all these pattern pieces before it's lunchtime and then playtime. Okay, I just want to show you a status update. So right now I know I'm kind of looking Tibetan monk-ish, but this will soon change. This is basically the rough draft right now. There's a long ways to go, but I need to make some adjustments to the back, of course. I really, though, was trying to work with the already intact seams like I was sharing with you, and I do think it's going to be really cute. I may end up swapping the buttons out, though, for something that is a little more zhazhazing, if you will, but this is what I have so far, and I'm about to take a break. My husband, he's been a true star. He's bringing me lunch. So I'm going to take a lunch break, let Puppy out, and then I'll resume after that.
Look who's ready for his lunch. He's ready. He's hungry. He's cute. He's little.
Okay, the blessed baby has been fed, walked, playtime, Now he is down for another nap. You know, we're kind of on this little routine right now. And I'm finally getting back to the top. It is several hours later, unfortunately. I'm gonna go ahead and just preemptively apologize. This video feels a little bit chaotic right now, but also so does my life in this moment. So this is good for me, honestly, and it's giving, I guess, a realistic glimpse behind the scenes of what's going on for me. But it's forcing me to kind of get back into the swing of sewing. So if you've ever lost your sojo or had a life event, whether positive or negative, come into play, maybe this can just be a normalizing experience that it happens to the best of us. Onto the shirt. Let me tell you where I'm at. All right, so believe it or not, I am actually going to sew off quite a few inches on the back, which honestly is probably going to work out. It's going to reduce the bulk of this shirt. I will still have a slight V in the back, but I'm just going to give it a try. You know, the back seams are going to line up, and the pattern also has a pleat in the back. So I'm going to give it a go. I'll do a try on and show you what it looks like after I try it on. You know, and to be honest with you, this is kind of my shirt upcycled toile that hopefully will be a wearable toile, but something I'm just trying because I do have several other shirts to upcycle and that I really want to work with. Okay, I think that it's actually going to work. So what I had already done is just created a narrow rolled hem around the neckline, and you're going to see the tail hanging off here on the back, but I feel like it's going to lay just fine. I'm going to trim this and then French seam that, and then I'll show you. Then I'll attach the bottom part of the shirt right here. I actually also think I'm going to crop it a little bit, and then of course I'm going to have to do something with the sleeves. But at this point I basically used the McCall's pattern as a loose guide, and as you can see I haven't even looked at the directions. I'm just doing my own thing over here. So got to keep sewing, trying to get this done today, one day. Let me go ahead and do a progress status update. So we've got the silhouette that I had in mind. You know, I had to do my funky little V in the back, but I'm not mad at it. You know, I'm gonna go with it. I don't know if the lighting is catching and or really depicting. You know, I had to add the back panel, and then what I did just to keep it easy and straightforward today, because I have a feeling this project is actually going to bleed into this week, another day. I just sewed all along the sides up to the sleeves. I mean, I'll show you the inside of the garment when it's completed, but here she is right now. Quite literally forgot to film any other ending clips for day one, but I only got this much done this first day. It's day 2. I have no eye makeup on. I was able to take a shower. I feel so dramatic, but let me get into the sewing portion of this. This is, you know, very much life happens. You live, you learn, you sew on, because I thought I could get away with just doing a narrow rolled hem around the top portion of the top. However, after trying it on yesterday, I realized that's a shortcut that is just not, it's not working. It's not looking good. So I went ahead and cut the facing out with some remaining scraps of this fabric, and I'm gonna try to salvage this shirt. I know with a couple more tweaks, it's gonna be super cute. And it's so funny because ordinarily I would definitely spend hours, you know, just without any time frame to work on this and work it out. And so I'm having to kind of revisit it in chunks, which, to be honest with you, is in some ways giving me a fresh perspective each time I look at it. So anyways, we're on the next day here. I am currently unpicking all of these stitches around the edge of the neck. I am going to also have to cut out the panel for the triangle like I originally did to see if it helps the shirt hang better. I will say, lesson learned, Typically with upcycled projects, I will completely take apart the garment and use those pieces to then cut flat as I can. And I did not do that with this one. You know, I was, again, trying to take these shortcuts. And so I've learned, lesson learned, and it happens. That's all I'm gonna say. It happens. So we're gonna forge ahead. Honestly, I'd wanted to wear this out to dinner with my girlfriend tonight, but that ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna keep you posted. This is, again, my chaotic sewing life vlog. Alas, we meet again on day 3 on what should have been what I hoped would be a one-day project, but that's how life be sometimes. There are a couple little tweaks I'm gonna have to do, but I'm gonna go ahead and update you and show you what I've done thus far. I'm getting nearer to the finish line. Is this my best work? No. Is it my worst work? No. I have certainly learned a whole lot, but let me go ahead and try this shirt on and I'll show you kind of what I'm working with right now. So this is where I'm at right now. The facing made a massive difference. So lesson learned, don't skip the facings. I had already learned that lesson. I think in my sleep-deprived, time-deprived brain, I said, you know what, I'm gonna skip over that, but it really does make a massive difference just in the way the blouse hangs. It is a little bit oversized, and so I'm kind of sitting with that right now to decide if it's really something I like and or would wear. What I did go ahead and do, which I do like, is add more buttons. I am going to stick with the buttons that came with the shirt. I kind of like the idea of just upcycling the entire piece. I actually kept the cuffs the same. I was going to chop those off and, you know, do something different, but I said, why fix what isn't broken? And so I just had to move the button over to make it tight. The other thing I did, I got rid of the V. The V is gone, and put the facing in the back neck. It does kind of dip down a little bit. Like I said, not my best work, not my worst work, and I'm well aware of that, but just wanting you to see the behind the scenes process here of trying to pull this top together. At this point, I do like the shirt. I'm not obsessed with it, and I think it needs something more. So I'm going to play around and maybe do some embroidery along the neckline, just to kind of jazz it up a tad, like do something with it. And then part of me wonders, should I bring it in some so that it's a closer fit? However, before I go in and start altering the bodice, the body of the shirt, I'm going to actually style it the way I would wear it and see, do I like it like that? Because the beauty of this right now is that it does come below my natural waist a couple inches, meaning I can tuck it into a pair of high-waisted jeans, and I think it's going to be super cute. So I'm going to keep you posted as I move along. I'm going to go ahead and get my pull-in embroidery machine going. I have the floral motif design already picked out in my head, and I'm going to pick that thread out in my very messy sewing room. And this is right about the time the creative flow just started kicking in, and it did not stop at one embroidered flower. In fact, things just kept progressing from here. I figured, what's the worst that could happen? I don't like it. I'm already not quite sure about this shirt, so there I went. Several more days later, I come to you and it's time for the final reveal. This is what I'm affectionately referring to as the boyfriend shirt. It has that oversized men's shirt feel, which it was a men's shirt previously, that is now a bit of a feminized version. At this point in time, I'm really happy with it. However, I'm going to share with you that getting my precious angel puppy had knocked me off of my routine. We were all trying to get to know each other, and as a result, I felt a little funky in the sewing room. Things just were not seamlessly moving along. I had to unpick so much, and I share all of that because For me, the best way to get back into the creative zone is to just do it. And when I started working with a pull-in embroidery machine, embroidering all of these rosettes on, which I just went haywire and loved every second of it, that's when the creative juices and process started feeling like it was clicking. That's when I started to find my creative joy again. I realized, you know what, I can do this and I can make it happen. At the end of the day, I am happy with this shirt, the boyfriend's shirt. If it did not have the embroidery on it, I don't know if I would like it as much, to be honest with you. This is typically a color combo I don't love, the pink and the burgundy, but again, for some reason, I'm here for it with this boyfriend shirt that I made. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration and unsolicited validation that when routines get messed up, creative juices and energy flow can kind of suffer. We all have a different process on how we kind of get our creativity back. And for me, it is always just to do it, to start, even if it's messy and perfect and complicated. I just needed to get back in the sewing room after taking a week off and find the flow. I tried several different things to see if I liked the fit better. I thinned the arms out, took out some of the bulk, ended up unpicking those stitches because truly I love the oversized feel. Then I tried to lessen the bodice. Wasn't really a fan of that either. I'm okay with the oversized feel of it with certain pants. You see it with the coated denim jeans from Banana Republic. Those are some of my favorite jeans, which I would easily even wear that to work if I'm being honest with you. Or in the case of today, I'm about to head out early and go to a local estate sale, see if maybe there's any fabric or some goodies. But I hope that today inspired you to try new things, have fun. At the end of the day, just creating is always my goal. Even if it does take me a roundabout long way to get to the final product that I like, as long as I'm creating and finding that new flow in a skewed routine, then I'm feeling happy. So have you ever upcycled a men's shirt, or will you after watching this video? Is it something that you're interested in doing now? Or maybe you already have made some projects. Honestly, the creative genius and ways to modify a men's dress shirt are endless. I have about 3 more dress shirts. I'm looking at them now that I look forward to getting to. The final thing is next time I will dismantle the shirt completely so I can work with flat fabric pieces. This one, the collar on the back is a little wonky, granted, but I love it and I'm still gonna wear it. And in fact, I'm wearing it out the door right now, heading to the estate sale. So hope you're having a great week. Hope you're taking wonderful care of yourself. And as always, happy sewing and creating, and be well.